All right, here we go. My name is Jeff Kay, and you're listening to episode 342 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Hello, world.
Do you ever watch House Hunters International? We watch it all the time. It's something baffling about that show. There's many things, but one of the things, if you go into on demand in whatever you use, I don't know how we watch it. I don't know if we watch it through Discovery Plus, which somehow we have a subscription to. I don't know how we're paying for it. I don't know if we are paying for it. I don't know if it comes with our cable or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. But, if you go into, I think it's Discovery Plus, you go in there and you look at House Hunters International, it'll say, it'll have hundreds of seasons. It says season 162 or something. I don't know. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but it has like an enormous number of, quote, seasons. Like, how is that possible? How long is a season? I don't know. There must be thousands of episodes of this thing. Many hundreds. Possibly over 1,000. I don't even know how long has this thing been on? How do you squeeze that many seasons? How long has it been on? Like 20 years? Has it been on that long? Maybe. How do you have 100? I don't know. I don't know how many. But anyway, we watch it on a semi-regular basis. And basically the concept of it is there's a couple, generally. Sometimes it's a single person, but I'd say 90% of the time it's a couple, an American couple, generally, that's moving to a different country, looking for a place to live. Usually a house, sometimes an apartment, and it's all, I don't know, it's all scripted, I think, or at least it's, I don't know if it's scripted, but the producers are definitely involved because each person in the couple, it's either like a man and a woman, two guys, two girls, whatever it is. One person has, wants to live in, like if they're moving to Germany, for instance, they're like, I want to feel like I'm in Germany. I want old German charm, this kind of stuff. I want something with a lot of character and old German charm. I want to feel like I'm in Germany or whatever country they're in. It's every time. And then the other person, they want something more modern, that kind of stuff. And they don't want to live right in the center of things. They want to live out on the outskirts. They don't want to live in the hustle bustle. The other person wants to live right down there so they can step right out of their apartment and go to a coffee house or a bar or something, So they instantly, both of them, neither one of them are on the same page. There's often they're not on the same page with money either. One of them wants to spend way more than the other. And this is all concocted in advance, or it's exaggerated at least, because they have to have conflict. That's it's the main building block of storytelling, right? You get people. There has to be conflict. That's how people get hooked on this thing. All right, so every single time, without exception, I've never seen an episode, as far as I can remember, and I've seen hundreds, where they're both on the same page. If Toney and I went to another country, we'd probably be on the same page, and then the producers would be like, no, we can't have that. One of you is going to have to pretend to be, I don't know. But anyway, we watch it. Toney likes to watch it as a palate cleanser. Like if we watch, say, Succession, right? We're almost done with that. I think we have like 4 or 5 episodes left of the entire series. And that's a fairly dark ass, Everybody in it's despicable, It's a dark comedy. I mean, I don't know. It's very funny. I don't know if it's supposed to be. I guess it is, but it's a dark. And she said, she says, I don't like to go to sleep with that darkness, fresh in my brain. So we watch an episode of Succession, and then we switch over to House Hunters International, and then it's a palate cleanser, and then she can go to sleep, and and with different images in her head. So anyway, we watch a lot of that. There was one the other night, a guy on there. Many times I want to punch one of them. Not that I ever would, but I feel the urge to punch somebody. For one, there's many reasons why these people are obnoxious. Often it's like Americans going over there. What? No walk-in closet, Like this is this building was built in 1790. You said you wanted old world charm. What? No dishwasher? Never even heard of it. Are you serious? Look at this bedroom. Look how tight it is. It's very tight. These kind of assholes. But there's all kinds of stuff that irritates the shit out of me. And but on that thing, and rarely do I see an episode where I'm not like irritated with one of the people in the couple, one member of the couple. The other night we were watching one. I can't remember the details. I don't even remember where they're moving. Maybe England. It feels like they were moving to England, and I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. But the woman, the wife, was a medical doctor. No, they weren't. Yeah, they were moving to England. They were moving to some small town in England. She was a medical doctor, and she got a job as a doctor at a hospital in rural England. Or it wasn't rural, but you know what I mean. It wasn't London. It wasn't a big city. It was a mid-sized city. And the husband, who they said he was in sales, I think, in the United States, but he was giving all that up, and he was going to stay home. He was going to be a stay-at-home dad, and he wasn't going to work at all. Right, and he was the one pushing for spend more money. No, like I don't know. You're not really, you're not really in any position, buddy. You're not even contributing. I mean, I don't know. That's so old fashioned, but you're not contributing to the money situation. I know you're contributing by watching the kids and stuff. He's the one pushing for let's spend like way more than what she says, but there was a scene in this thing. They're in the car. It shows them in a car. She's getting whipped up about something. The wife, she seemed fairly normal, but she was getting upset about something. And he said this phrase, and tell me what would happen. Whatever. I don't know what your situation is, if you're married or if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. But if a guy said this to, I don't know. I can't even imagine saying this. He goes, like, she's over there getting all whipped up about something, and he says, I'm going to need you to calm down. I was like, what in the hell? I told Toney, I said, what would you say? I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'm going to need you to calm down now and, take some deep breaths. Oh, my God. That guy needed to be punched in the face. I mean, what a condescending cock. Plus, who is he? I was fired up for the rest of the night. Yeah, I'm going to need you. I said, what would you do? I asked Toney. I said, what would you do if I said that to you? Like, yeah, I'm going to need you to. Okay, Toney. I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to need you to calm down now. Oh, my God. She'd probably hit me with some kind of, like, skillet or something. I mean, they're probably... I mean, it wouldn't be good, and I would have it coming. Anyway, do you watch that show? I get fired up watching that thing for various reasons. And, I don't know, some of those countries, I have these opinions in my head. It's like, I don't know what I'm basing it on. It's like these people are moving to Singapore. So I had this vision in my head, completely, I don't know, based on like very little, and then it's like it shows them looking for a house. It looks like frickin' New York City or something. It looks like it's like a modern city, It's like that's not what the way I had it, envisioned. Anyway, it's an eye-opening show and also annoying in many ways. But we're hooked on it. We watch it all the time. Speaking of me and Toney, as I record this, tomorrow will be our 30th wedding anniversary. Thank you very much. And tonight we're going out to dinner. I mean, we're not big on. I mean, I feel we did go to. Where did we go? We went to Las Vegas when our 25th anniversary. We went to Las Vegas, and we were planning on possibly doing something for this 30th, and it didn't pan out. We're just going to go out to dinner. That's pretty much going to be the extent of it. But we've been married 30 years. We got married in Atlanta. We met at work in Atlanta, and we got married in obviously 93, and we got married by a judge. We just called somebody and said, "Hey, is there somebody like a judge or something?" I don't remember how we did it, but we got hooked up with this guy. His name was Gary Jackson. He's a judge in Atlanta, or he was. I don't know if he still is. And then he married us in his chambers. Did a great job. I remember when we were setting it up, I was talking to a secretary and or whoever, secretary, I guess, I don't know. And she said, I said, what's the traditional? I mean, what should I give him? What kind of a donation or whatever you want to call it, tip or whatever? She goes, well, generally it's either $50 or $100. Some people give more, but I said, what is the most common? She said 100. Hundreds, good amount. I said, all right, sounds good. So I gave him $100. I gave him an envelope. She goes, when we got there, she goes, if you have anything for the judge, you can leave it with me. Guy probably never saw it. No, I don't know. But anyway, so the whole wedding cost $100, And then we had a party that night at this fancy ass hotel called the Swiss Hotel. I don't think it's there anymore. The hotel's there, but it's not called Swiss Hotel anymore. It's in the Buckhead area of Atlanta. Oh man, it was a blast. So much fun. So much fun. All the people from work, our friends were there, and some people traveled to be there. Like my friend Steve was there. My parents, my grandmother was there, my brother. A bunch of people came in, and a bunch of people from work. Couldn't have been more fun. It's just a complete blast. Oh, my aunt and uncle, Pam and Chuck, they came in. So, hardly anybody was at the wedding itself. Which that was a gift. That was our gift to them. You don't have to go through the wedding part. We're going to do that behind closed doors. We're just going to fast forward right to the party. Hell yes. That is a gift. That's a gift from us to the participants in our wedding. So that was so much fun. And then we went to San Francisco the next day. We spent a week out in San Francisco. Perfect. I mean, it couldn't have been more. It was so much fun. It was absolute perfection. It's like all of it went exactly as we'd hoped. Because you always build stuff up inside your head like, this is going to be the best. This actually was the best. This was one of the best. The wedding day, perfect, beautiful weather. The trip to San Francisco, absolutely perfect. We stayed in a nice hotel. We did a lot of fun stuff, It was great. The city is beautiful. I mean, I don't know what... I hear horror stories about it now, but that was back 30 years ago. It was, just beautiful, and just... We had so much fun. We went to this cool old bar called Vesuvio's, and went there a few times. And we went to a Giants baseball game at Candlestick, and went out to Alcatraz. We took one of those bus tours around the city. So much fun. We went to Haight-Ashbury. We did it all, and it was just a blast, So that was 30 years ago. Tonight we're going to go to some fancy pants Italian restaurant and have dinner, and that'll be good. And it's going to be kind of a low-key 30th. We were planning to go to England maybe, or over to UK somewhere. That didn't work out. We had other issues that we had to deal with this year, so that didn't work out. Maybe we'll do it, I don't know. It doesn't have to be on one of our anniversary years, right? It's just whenever it makes sense. Whenever we can do it, we should do it. Anyway, that's tomorrow, 30th wedding anniversary. Pretty good, huh? It's a pretty good run. I was thinking the other day, or this morning actually, about when you get married. Back in those days, you used to have to go get a blood test. Remember that? I don't think you have to do that anywhere anymore. I think that's a thing of the past. What was that about? It was something about some kind of disease that you could pass on to your kids or something. I'm not sure. It's something to do with that, because it's people get married and have kids. They want to make sure that you're not going to, I don't know, pass on something. I'm not clear on it, but they don't do it anymore, I don't think, anywhere. But back when we were in Georgia, I had to go get a blood test, and I remember being worried about it. Like they're going to find something terrible in there. I wasn't worried about any kind of disease that we're going to pass on to our kids. I was just thinking about, they're going to find something in there like blood cancer or something, because that's the way I am. I'm always worried. I'm like paranoid and neurotic. Every time I get blood tests or anytime I go to the doctor, I'm convinced that they're going to find something horrific, something that's just going to be life-altering in a negative way. But anyway, if you got married, did you have to get a blood test? What's that all about? Anyway, I do have one call that came in. It was quick. It's a quickie, but it came in as a response to our previous episode where we had 3 calls. We were talking about, what was it called? What was it? Oh, bad trips gone bad, or vacations, negative vacation. Vacations that didn't work out for whatever reason. And one of them was from our old buddy Patrick. And this call right here is from Ron from Florida. This is in response to Patrick's long list of horror stories, travel horror stories. And so here it is.
Hey Jeff, it's Ron from Florida. I just got done listening to the latest podcast, and your buddy Pat, he's better off just not leaving the house at all. My God. Either that or it was his ex-wife. It sounds like most of that crap happened with his ex-wife, so now that she's gone, maybe he can have better vacations. Anyway, love the show, man. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, it was quite a list he had. I don't know. I don't really think about that. I don't know. But, I've had my share of travel horror stories. And it sounds like Patrick's got me beat, though. But yeah, you're right. I hope Patrick does have some good trips. I feel like he probably does. He probably has some. He has some the other end of the spectrum trips as well. I was thinking about this. One of the things I was thinking about this morning when we're in England, which I don't know when that was. A long time ago, 2008, I think. For some reason, do you ever have stuff that you've done that you think back on and you just like get a full body shiver? I have hundreds of those things. I created a new one yesterday. This doesn't have anything to do with the story, but I called somebody that I work with, and I had a question. Well, I texted her. I texted her first. She didn't respond. And I was like, I need an answer. I need to find out what the hell's, I needed an answer. So I called her, and she clearly I woke her up. I said, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Did I wake you up?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'm sorry. God, I feel terrible about that." She goes, "Don't worry about it. It's all right. I need to get up anyway." I said, and I felt like an asshole about it, right? So then she answered my question. Right. Then that night, at the same night, I went at work. I stopped by her office to apologize some more. I wanted to continue apologizing for waking her up. And they said, oh, she's on vacation. She's in South Carolina. I'm like, oh, my God. Not only did I wake her up, she's on vacation. What an asshole. God. I was like, oh, my God. I texted her. I said, I'm so sorry. I feel so terrible. But anyway, so one of these things is, this is gross, but one of the things about travel that does, I mean, I have a few horror stories, but I don't have the long list like Patrick does. But I do have some, I had some trouble. But one of the things that's consistent, and this is disgusting, and I apologize in advance, but it throws off my entire gastrointestinal, that whole thing. Travel does. It starts on day one, right? It starts at home. The morning I leave, I feel like I'm under too much pressure. Like I have to there's a time crunch, and I can't take my morning constitutional on my own schedule. I try to force the issue. I get all up in my head, right? Get all up in my head about it, and I try to force. I try to force the issue. It never works, right? And then I spend the entire day suffering, because I'm not like you guys. I can't just go and just go in there and just offload in a Target or whatever. I can't go to a grocery store and take a dump in there. I can't do that. I'm not it's got to be at home or a hotel. That's pretty much it. Or in my parents' house. Those are pretty much the only three places in the world that, a hotel, my parents' house. I don't know why that is, but that's true. And my house, our house, right? And so I get up in the morning. I got a time crunch. We have to leave, and it generally just happens. You drink a few cups of coffee, and things start moving in that direction, right? And you just take care of business, and you're good for the rest of the day. So when we go on a trip every time, I get all up in my head about it, and then I try to force the issue. It doesn't work, and then I feel like the Michelin Man. I'm all puffed up. I feel like the Michelin Man for the rest of the day, and it just ruins everything. It makes me feel. So anyway, one time, let's see. I told you guys. Okay. I told you guys about. I told you this story before, but one time I was went on a trip with a new girlfriend. We were it was early days. I told this story before, but it was early days of a relationship, and it was a long time ago, more than 30 years ago. And but she asked me if I wanted to go to Charleston, South Carolina, with her and her parents. They were going to stay at somebody's house on an island off the coast of Charleston at some woman's house. And I don't know, it's like, oh my God, I barely even know her. This is this could be, this could be something else. I don't know about that. This could go off the rails, I felt a little weird about it because I was, early days. I didn't know her parents. I felt the whole thing felt awkward, but I didn't want to say no. So I ended up going, of course. So we go, and we get to the house, and has white carpeting, like snow white carpeting all throughout. Like, who would do this? I'm going to spill something on this. I know, like a meatball's going to roll off off a plate, and the woman's going to flip out because they're a pristine white carpet. I'm going to track in like railroad grease or something off, I'm going to do something, so that was making me a nervous wreck. And then the only bathroom in the house that I knew about was the one right off the kitchen. I mean, and everybody hung out in the kitchen, drank wine in there, yucking it up. Everybody's in there like, whoa, whoa. The parents, her parents, and the woman who owned the house in there 100% of the time. They're in there all the time, and there's a bathroom right there, just one of those hollow corridors. I mean, you can't. How are you supposed to go in there and use the bathroom? How are you supposed to go in there and have a sit down session with everybody right there. You may as well just be doing it right in the kitchen. I mean, every sound not only would be heard, but it would be amplified by the acoustics of this bathroom. And then, I mean, there's other issues I don't even want to get into. There could be problems that, there could be lingering problems, if you know what I mean. I mean, this is not good. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I don't know these people. I'm early days of this relationship. I don't know. I can't do it. So I just got it in my head. I'm just going to ride this thing out. I'm just not going to, I'm just not going to take a shit the entire 3 days. I think I could do it. And so I started thinking, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to make it through the 3 days without a number two. Try not to be too gross. So I was doing that. I wasn't. By the second day, I was sick. I mean, I felt like I was sick, half sick. And I was just miserable. I was just doing my best to push through. I felt like I was all bloated out. I felt like one of those Macy's parade. I should be floating over a Macy's parade. New Year's Day, and I don't know. It was terrible. So one night, my girlfriend Sharon, she goes, "Let's go." I don't know. We went out in her car. We went out in a car, and we went and bought some. We had a couple beers somewhere, and I was like, "Oh God!" Like every sip of beer just made it worse. I felt like I was just expanding, And so then we went somewhere. We were parked, and it was like this romantic, it was overlooking the ocean. There's palm trees out there. It's like almost like a place where, I don't know what, I don't know. Some people people go there for romantic evening or whatever, romantic moments or whatever. So we're out there, and we start, making out a little bit, and we're, kind of moving about inside the car, and then tragedy struck. I moved in a certain way. I twisted my body in a certain way, and a loud, prolonged tugboat blast. I mean, it was loud, and it seemed like it lasted forever, and it came out of nowhere. It caught me off surprise as much as it caught her off surprise. It sounded like some kind of a, like a cruise ship was coming into the harbor. Real loud, prolonged blast. And I was like, oh my God, my stomach, basically almost fell out of my ass. I mean, I was like, oh my God, just I'm just totally mortified, and I look at her with this look of like, oh my God, this total fear and disgust and just, I'm just destroyed emotionally from this tugboat blast. And she started laughing hysterically, and she goes, "Oh my God, I wish you could see the look on your face." And she was cool about it, and we laughed and laughed. It's one of those things. I'm thinking, when I think back on it, I'm like, oh God. We've talked about it since then. She thinks it's hilarious. She was cool about that kind of thing. Anyway, there was another instance like that. This is disgusting. I shouldn't even tell this story. But when we were in England, 2008, I think, is when we went over there, and it was one of those deals. It was one of those deals. I was trying to, I was trying to make something happen artificially, instead of letting nature take its course. Which I do every day. I was trying, I was in a position where we were going to go out and about. I had to take care of business on a schedule instead of letting nature take its course. And nothing happened. I couldn't make anything happen. I could, and we went down the block to a restaurant. We're having breakfast in this restaurant, right? I'm drinking coffee and we're having whatever, eating breakfast. And I started getting, I could tell something was imminent, you know. I mean, it's like the travel, you know, I don't have these problems except when I'm traveling. And it throws off my entire cycle. There's a cycle, there's a rhythm to it. This throws everything off, and I could tell, you know, this is something that's going to have to be dealt with. I told Toney, I said, I'm sorry to do this, but I think I'm going to hoof it back to the hotel real fast. Take care of a little personal problem. She goes, I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know every detail. I said, yeah. I'll be back. You know, it won't take long. Believe me. I can tell it's going to be, quick in and out. She goes, I don't need to know anything. You know. So I hoofed it back over there and went back to the room and laid waste to the entire room. I mean, it was complete destruction. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was a terrible, terrible situation. I mean, just I don't want to get into it, but it was quite a spectacular event, and it was there was a lot of aftershocks that I had to deal with, and it went on for a while. But anyway, and it was not good. The room was it was not inhabitable. I mean, I had rendered it uninhabitable. So I took care of all that. I took care of that problem. I left. I was leaving my room, locking it up, make sure it was locked and everything. And there's this girl who works at the hotel. She looked like she was like 17 years old. She was extremely cute. She looked like a cute high schooler. She was real, chipper and friendly. She goes, she had a British accent, of course. And she goes, I'm getting ready to clean your room. Do you need anything? I said, I wanted to say, don't go in there. Please, don't go in there. But I can't say that. I don't know. I didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, my God. I said, no, I'm good. And I just, took off and went down the stairs. I didn't even wait for the elevator. I just went down the stairs just to escape the situation. And when I was heading down the stairs, I looked over my shoulder, and she was opening the door. I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Caesar, I only have these problems when I'm traveling. Is this just me? I think most of you guys, you just go take a big dump in an Ollie's. You don't care. I don't care. So you take a shit anywhere, any toilet in town, any port in a storm. God, I'm not like that. I'm not like that at all. I've got maybe it's a hang up. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but I'm not like that. So I get into situations. It's mostly when I travel. I never have these issues at home. Because I let nature take its course. Yeah, anyway. Aren't you glad you called, Ron? All right, we're at the end of this thing. It's about time. We're going to go have I don't know what I'm going to have. I'm not a big, not really, anyway. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner. It's some fancy place where the guy comes out with a linen over his forearm, very fancy, And I don't know, I feel kind of ill at ease at those kind of places, but, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. We'll have fun. And so until next time, if you want 2 of these a week, I almost forgot to do all this. If you want 2 of these a week, head on over to patreon.com. That's Patreon, patreon.com/JeffK. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. Not every once in a while. Not every month. That's for suckers. Every week. So do it today. Double down on the Surf Report. If 1 a week isn't good enough, and I don't think it is, patreon.com/JeffK is where you can rectify that problem. If you want to call in like Ron did, and Patrick, and all the other folks in the previous episode, you can do that. 570-290-8151 is the number. Call around the clock. It's just voicemail. Respond to something I said, or something I brought up, or ask a question, or whatever, whatever floats your boat. 570-290-8151 is the number. And the WVSR.com is the center of the Surf Report universe. So head on over there to God, not making sense. Head on over there as well. And, the WVSR.com, the West Virginia Surf Report. It's been on the internet since 2000, I think. I think I got the domain name in 1999. I tried to get WVSR.com. It was taken. You would think it would be a radio station because there actually is a WVSR in Charleston, West Virginia. It used to be called, what was it? FM1. What was it? I don't know. But anyway, what did they call that station? It was real popular. But anyway, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a radio station. Oh, it's called V100. That's what it was. But no. That's not what it was. It was the West Virginia Split Rail Company. They already had that in 1999. A split rail company in West Virginia already was so savvy. They had gone in and grabbed that domain name. Back in those days, the internet was like tiny. Let me take a hit of water. Too much talking. The internet was tiny. You could get pretty much any domain name you wanted, but you couldn't get that one, so I just had to put the WVSR. And I grabbed that in 1999. Anyway, if you want expanded show notes and other nonsense, it's just chock full of nonsense, the WVSR.com is where you should go to get it. I just had a coughing jag. Sorry about that. I better go. So until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side, you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see ya. Bye. Old German charm.